And welcome everybody, it's Dan Latto speaking, hope you're well today. So in today's marketing sales show, let's talk about how to create a digital marketing content campaign. This is really, really important because if you can get this right, you will increase the amount of people that actually see who you are, what you do, what you're about, what services and products you offer. At the same time with all of that, you'll also build authority, your position as an expert. You'll be able to demonstrate who you are, whether you're nice or not. And people will get to know you. And when we get to know you, hopefully they get to like you. And when people get to like you, hopefully they get to trust you. And so all of this is really, really important. But, you know, if you're sat at home right now or you're sat at work and work's a little bit quiet, which it is for a lot of people, by the way, right now, we know that. It's like, well, what can you do to increase the amount of visibility out there in the marketplace? And really that's what I wanted to cover in today's session. So how do you create a digital marketing campaign? And first up, as always, it would start with who is your audience? And also it's not who is your audience, but also where is your audience? It might be that your audience is on Instagram, or it might be that your audience is on LinkedIn, and maybe you want to, when you're creating content, you want to think, okay, LinkedIn first. For me, it's always been Facebook, and maybe we're missing a trick and we should be thinking more LinkedIn. But if we actually thought, let's go LinkedIn first, and that was the first thing that's in my head, my type of content would change a little bit. Maybe I'd dress up a little bit more, put a shirt and tie on, because LinkedIn's a more businessy. But I hate that stuff, you know? Everybody works from home. I'm expecting a parcel today. No doubt Amazon will just show up during the middle of a live stream. And, you know, going back 10, 20 years, oh my gosh, that's dreadful. It's so unprofessional. But now, you know, for me, I just think people are much more used to that. And so I'm just wearing a hoodie. I've got a Captain America shield and a picture of Saturn behind me, like a thing that glows, right? Like, nobody cares about that stuff anymore. At least in my mind, I don't think we do. So we don't want those kind of clients that are really hoity-toity, full professional and that kind of thing. That's just not our cup of tea. We want people who are much more fun. So for us, Facebook is the key. But it's not just who your audience is, it's where is your audience going to be. And therefore, if it is Instagram, that is a different type of content, again, entirely. And so I do kind of understand what Gary Vee says. You know, you have a certain type of content, you put it out on LinkedIn. You have a different type of content that's more relevant for Instagram. I kind of think that, and I agree with him to some extent, right? But I also agree, I also think that I've not got time to be doing TikToks and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Snapchat and all these different methodologies. Who's got time for that? We're busy people. You and I, we're all very, very busy people. You know, we don't have time to be creating 5 pieces of similar content for each platform. Who's got time for that? So we would normally create a piece of content and shove it out across all the platforms all at the same time, and that works for us. No one's got time for that. We're not full-time content creators, influencers. We just don't have time for that. So you've got to think about who your audience is and where they are, where they exist effectively. We're going to talk about that a little bit in distribution as well, because I think that's important too. And then the next bit is, well, what is the content going to be about? So for example, this is a content about how to create a digital marketing content campaign. That's the story. And there's 4 sections to this story: audience, story, creation, and distribution. We're going to tell a story all the way through, right? So what's yours? Is it, you know, I used to say an example yesterday actually, and it's really a funny example, but do you remember the Eddie Stobart TV program? The driver Mick, he's driving to the ferry. Will he get there on time? Dun, dun, dun. We don't know. It's raining. He's got 5 hours left, but the traffic's building up. Like, they are great at storytelling and creating this false narrative that, oh, is he going to get there on time? If not, it'll cost him dearly. In that voiceover as well, by the way. So if you're listening to this, I apologise for my voiceover. But that's what we do, right? And needless to say, Mick, the lorry driver, he gets there just in time, but he has to reverse his 18-wheeler articulated lorry. Can he do it in time? Yeah, he can. Because he does it every week, right? He always gets there every week. He never, ever fails. Wow, what a guy. Tune in next week, right? So that's the story. What is your story? Is it a customer journey? Is it a product journey? Is it how something is made from start to finish? Is it the distribution of the product? Is it the usage of that product? Is it feedback that you get from clients? Is that the story? And obviously you've got to produce a lot of content, right? So you've got to be producing a lot of stories. You've got to find lots of different angles. One thing that we just thought of is on my mobile phone at the end of each month is to plug it into the computer and go through all the photographs and all the videos so we can actually create like a highlight of the month for, we're in February 2024 right now. So it's to create a highlight of all the things we've done, stick it to music. That's one piece of content, right? As well as going live and as well as all the shorts. And then, I've just been filming some very short, less than 1 minute long videos for all the websites we've been doing. Very, very busy on websites recently. So busy, in fact, we've had to take on a website manager, which is really awesome because it means I don't have to do it anymore. But there's a story in all of that as well. There's a story in me having to take on a website manager because I'm too busy to do them. There's a story in coming up with the idea on getting all the videos, all your highlights of this month and creating a little video at the end of the month. There's a story on all the websites that we've done and why we've done them in a certain way and what the clients have said about the websites and how happy they are. Or not happy, maybe. Mostly all our clients are happy. You always get the odd grumpy one. It's just people, right? You can't help that. They don't want to pay a lot, and then they want the earth. They want everything, all bells and whistles for not a lot of money. It's just part of the course of running a business. I'm sure you know how that feels yourself. But that right there is a story. That's a piece of content right there. And so you've got to work out what is the story going to be. And then once you've got the story, now you've really got to be creating the content. So what is that? Like, are you acting? So there's a big thing on Instagram even right now, where it's digital creators, and so they set the GoPro down and then they run back 20 seconds and then they start running again past the GoPro and then they stop and then they go pick up the GoPro, and so they're showing that process, which is a ridiculous process, right? Especially if you're filming content and it's just you. Who's got a film crew with sound and makeup and lighting? Nobody, right? So you've got to do stupid stuff like that, and it drives me insane. But I'm also quite glad that they're kind of showing that is the way that they actually create the content now, because it is daft. Just walking down past a stream. You have to go set your camera up so you can walk past the stream, and you got to go back and pick up the camera that you've just left. Hope that nobody nicks it on the way past, It's just really bizarre. But this is the content creation. Or is it that, filming yourself at CrossFit, for example, which I've done a couple of times, and it's like, sorry guys, I'm going to film, is that all right? And most people are okay with it. In fact, nobody has not said that I'm not okay with it yet. Maybe they didn't understand my Yorkshire English, who knows, living here in Spain. But you have to create the content somehow. How are you going to do that? Who's going to help you with that? And I keep thinking, I just get someone from a local college, get them a camera, just follow me around for a day. And then I'm like, my days are not that interesting. I'm at my desk right now. I've been at my desk all day. I've stretched my legs. I've got a heated blanket on. Like, that's the highlight of my day. What the heck are we going to hire someone to film us? We're not going anywhere. It's really difficult. So maybe we just have to do all our exciting stuff every Friday. Bring a videographer along for every time we do something exciting. Just have Fridays as the exciting day. So we've got lots of content to film. Hire them for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Get loads of raw footage and then send it over to our team to stick together. That's really, it's fake as anything. Nearly swore then. But it is fake as anything, right? So, you have to create the content. How are you going to do that? And for our clients, for example, we now interview them. And so I just looked out, we did 2 interviews and we've got 50 short videos, 50 pieces of content for those 2 clients, which is amazing because we interviewed them. But we have to kickstart that process for our clients because I know it's very, very difficult. And actually what should happen is I should get our interviewer to interview me once a week. And then now suddenly we've got even more content, It's probably an idea to note down. But again, I'm just still sat here. Maybe we need to do it when I'm sat in the marina or by the beachfront or the coffee shop. I had cheesecake at the coffee shop. Why did I not film? I took a picture. Whoopie-doo. Creating the content is really, really hard. And usually that's why people come to us, because they need a hand to do it. And we can help to some extent, but they still got to do other stuff as well. And then finally is just the distribution. And in the audience, we talked about not just who, but how. How is that going to get distributed out? And where does your audience live? And the distribution conversation is slightly different to that, because it's what is the process for getting that piece of content? Not all, just about creating it. Who's going to edit it? So there's a bit in between creation and distribution anyway, but who's going to edit that content? We've just sent a load of videos over for our website stuff, sent him maybe 5 or 6 videos, and he's just finishing off a long form video for one of our sheep shearing clients. One of our clients is a sheep shearer, which is really interesting, by the way, because people are like, what? I'm like, I know, right? He gets 271,000 views shearing a sheep. For God's sake, I think last month he did 21 million views. I get 5. It's like, what? It's just amazing, right? Because people are more interested in shearing sheep than they are listening to Dan rattle on about business growth and marketing and sales, right? It's just the nature of the beast. It's fine. But who or how are you going to then distribute it? Not only what platforms, but who's going to edit it? Who's going to write the copy? What's the call to action? What's the headline? What's the thumbnail? All that stuff has to be created before you can distribute it. And then how are you going to distribute it? What's the platform? So, for example, you could use Content Planner, which is our own social media distribution scheduler, which is really awesome, by the way. Loads of really good things in there. Like you can set content to repeat every 6 weeks, which is brilliant. You just fire and forget. It's really cool. But how are you going to distribute it? You know, who's creating a thumbnail? Who's writing the copy? What is the call to action? Which hashtags are you going to use? So all of that stuff is really, really important. All that stuff has to be thought about as well. Anyway, look, I hope you find that useful. That will do us for today, I think. If you've got any questions or if you need a hand on creating your content and then distributing it out, obviously book in a strategy session. The link will be down below. Other than that, have a great week and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.